This week, I'd like to talk about our relationship with our thoughts. Perhaps it's a hazard of being a therapist, but oftentimes I think of things in terms of relationships. And something that I know to be true is that we cannot control our thoughts. And the more we try to control our thoughts, the more that creates another thought cycle that we then have to attend to. The good news is that we can control our relationship with our thoughts. And so that's what I would like to talk about today. So, the first big area to look at in our relationship with our thoughts is building awareness around thoughts. So, what are some signs that we need to be mindful of what thoughts are going on? Anxiety coming up, um, bad thoughts about ourselves, repetitive thoughts that kind of come up and come up over time. Really, any kind of discomfort that we're experiencing, there are often thought cycles underneath that. Just as an example, this morning I was waiting for the elevator in my building and I noticed I started feeling irritated. I can very easily identify that. It tends to start in my stomach and moves up to a tightness in my chest. And I started to notice that this morning. And for me, that was a signal like, oh, hey, what's going on? I'm feeling this in my body. What thoughts are going on? And for me, the thought that was going on was like, this shouldn't be happening. The elevator should be here faster. You know, they should be done with the construction in the building. I mean, and on and on. So that's a little example of kind of paying attention to discomfort or signals in our bodies that come up. And then doing a little investigation or being curious about what thoughts are behind that. So how do we start to build that skill? We build this skill through cultivating mindfulness. And mindfulness is the non-judgmental awareness of what is going on, of our thoughts, grounded in the present moment. So how can we start to do that? We can do that in a lot of ways, but a really accessible way is through meditation and setting aside some time in our day when we get still and we get quiet and we focus on being present. And we notice the thoughts that come up and we practice not attaching to those thoughts, simply noticing them and coming back to the present over and over. So there's a reason that it's called a practice, because it's not something that happens naturally. You know, I hear a lot of times from clients, oh yeah, I've tried meditation, it's hard, and so I don't do it. And I think that that's exactly the reason that we should do meditation, because it is hard to notice our thoughts and to come back and be present. It's not what we naturally do, and so it takes some practice to do it. And doing it in a formal setting and doing it without judgment starts to strengthen that muscle so we can do it throughout our day and do it outside of that meditation practice. So that allows us to catch some of these narratives that we might have about ourselves if we're feeling bad about ourselves. It helps us build awareness so we can see when those thoughts come up that are causing discomfort in us. And it also allows us to notice thoughts that may be causing discomfort in relationship to other people. So a way of addressing that then when we notice it is in relationship with somebody, to bring that out into the open. So say, for example, you don't hear back from a friend for a few days that you've texted. And maybe in that meantime, you notice some discomfort come up for you because you're maybe thinking, did I do something to irritate them? Do I text them too much? Are they too busy to get back to me? Am I not important to them anymore? And when we build awareness around those thought cycles, sometimes we can hold those up to the light and see if they're true for us, see if those are born out of our anxiety. And sometimes we can go to our friend and say, hey, you know, I didn't hear back from you for a couple of days, and the stories that I was making up were these things. And that gives our friend the chance then to either address some of those things might be true, or to say, no, those weren't true, and then we can let those go. And we can do that same process of introspection with our thoughts about ourselves once we build that awareness. So next week we'll talk about bringing in compassion as we build awareness for our thoughts and how we relate to our thoughts in a compassionate way. When we add awareness and compassion to our relationship with our thoughts, then that allows us to not live in a space of reactivity to what's coming up in our body or what's going on in our minds. And it allows us to be still and then make decisions based on what's important to us rather than reacting in the moment. So I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope you have a great day. Take good care.